Our first story is from Throwaway 5433. How I got my boss's job and my coworkers a 15% raise. Hey Reddit, I can finally share my story because now it is all over. I am on mobile also. English isn't my mother language. And this is my first post ever on Reddit. So please be gentle, haha. And sorry for the long post. To the backstory. This all happened in an EU country, I don't say which one's sorry. I did my apprenticeship in a mid to big size factory as a machine operator. After I completed my apprenticeship, I worked in the production for around 1 month. Then I got called into the office, and they asked me if I can do some holiday replacement, so I said, yes, why not, better hours and clean work. I got taught the systems, which was pretty because I manufactured those parts for 1 year. After my coworker came back from their vacation, they asked me to stay and became a part of their team, so I said, yes, sounds good. So I was now working in the sale quality department. Now to the present time, 7 years later. Our team increased from 5 workers to 15 because of restructuring, which helped us a lot. My boss retired last fall. And after Christmas, we got a new young boss around my age, 27, who was a major asshole and sexist. We got a few weeks before him a new hire, a lovely young girl, age 19, which I trained her. If you are new, you are doing some error, which is totally fine in my opinion. So I come in last Tuesday to hear my new boss screaming like a maniac at this young girl. I asked her what happened, and she said she filled the wrong form, which happens even to me. My boss noticed it and screamed at her. I paraphrase it. Boss, you stupid little slut, who dumb can you be to fill out the wrong form? I should fire you and make sure that you never find any work in this field again. Co-worker started crying at this point. Then my boss stormed into his office and slammed the door shut. I asked my co-worker if she's okay, and she was still sobbing, so I brought her a coffee and took her to our office, Grandma. Everyone loves here so much. I was at this point pretty pissed and told everyone what happened. After they learned what he did to our new co-worker 3, stormed into his office and quit after 25 years in this company. Mick's boss said to them that they are worthless and overpaid. They told us that, and a plan was formed. Everyone will quit, except for me, for now. What my boss didn't know yet, if we had a huge customer audit happening in 3 weeks, which I am the only certified to prepare for. If we fail this, it would cost us 15 to 20 million euros, and the customer would pull the contract. So after my boss learned that the whole department quit, except for me, he was even more pissed. Boss, hey, why the hell did everyone quit? Me. Maybe because you are asshole and a sexist pig? Boss, what did you just say, you asshole? Me. You know what I said, and do you remember the big audit in 3 weeks by customer X? Boss. Yeah, what's about that? Me. You know that I am the only one certified to prepare it, right? Boss. Yeah, and? Me. I quit as well because I do not want to work for such a asshole boss. See ya. And walked right out to my other co-workers to say goodbye in the whole factory. The production VP noticed it and asked what happens, so I told him, and he was pissed. He called the CEO, which I knew pretty well, and said, Robert, the shit hit the fan big time, come down to the production floor now. The CEO asked if it's important, and the VP said, if you want to pass the audit in 3 weeks, then move your ass down here now. So the CEO came running down with the entire C-suits and asked, what's so important? Then I piped up and said, our whole department quit today and won't come back until this motherfucker of boss gets removed and fired. Then they asked what happens, and we told them. They were mad and asked how they can fix it. I said, fire him and hire a better fit. Because I held the most trainings and qualifications they asked me, which I gladly said yes. So we took off to my new office with my old department and the CEO in tow. My boss saw me and said arrogantly, decided to came back a beg for your job back, you little R-word? Me, nah, just to inspect my new office because you are fired by now. He laughs and said that I am under him and only the CEO can fire him. So the CEO came around the little corner and said to my boss, get the fuck out of my company, you are fired, and I make sure that every company knows what you did. My ex-boss was white as a sheet. After that, the CEO called the police and reported him trespassing. In the end, I got a 70K raise and a bonus option, which I declined and asked if we can split it for my co-workers. I don't need that much money, €1 million worth of bonuses. My CEO agreed and everyone got their job back, and we complete the audit without any fails. The customer was happy, and so we are too. If you have questions, I will answer them in the commands. The revenge was really epic. OP stood up for his co-worker, united the whole team, and exposed a toxic boss, all while keeping his company's future in mind. By quitting at the most critical moment, OP forced leadership to take swift action, and in the end, he secured a fairer, healthier work environment for everyone. OP not only took a successful revenge, but also showed his leadership skills. Our second story is from Fox. Revenge on the movie producer. Please allow me to note well in advance, this story is not mine. In fact, it's a rather popular story in a town I once lived in, Savannah, Georgia, and centers around one homeowner who got royally annoyed with a movie producer. There will be a note at the end about the fellow this story is about for those interested. Okay, so first and foremost, when movie producers are looking for places to set a movie that takes place in colonial or even 1800s cities in the US, due to the sheer number of parks, wide roads, and period houses, they will often select Savannah, Georgia. They'll pull all the Spanish moss out of the trees, or trim it back, pour dirt on the roads around the squares, and effectively backdate that part of the city to fit most any place, even up to some having used the area as a setting for places like early Washington, D.C., and even places in Britain or France. Typically, when producers do this, they will pay each homeowner whose house is used as background flavor a couple $1,000s for the licensing to do so. That will be important later. Trust me. They issue some rules, like no electric lights being visible, not coming out of any door that faces the street, and you have to move your automobiles away from the drive, if you have a drive. Well, 1979, a producer came from Hollywood with the intention of using Savannah for that very purpose. Specifically, the producer was from one of the big three-letter TV channels and was working on making a made-for-TV movie talking about the events after the assassination of Lincoln and the subsequent accusations of the doctor present at his death. The production went to the city to seek permission and then sent an announcement out to each of the homeowners telling them of the various days that the shoot was going to take place. However, much to their downfall, they also noted that the production company would not be compensating the homeowners for the use of their homes as backdrops. This was met with some great annoyance by the homeowners, who turned to the city for help, only to be told that it was their civic duty to allow the use of their homes. Most everyone agreed to this and bit their lips. One homeowner, however, didn't. He decided to get revenge on the production, attempting to screw up their shooting every chance he got. He first started by leaving his car out in front of his house, only to have it towed before filming started. He threatened legal action against the studio, but that fell on deaf ears. He forbade the use of his home in some of the shots, but the production company got the city to make him back down. Eventually, enough was enough. So he waited, biding his time until he was certain they were filming. When the day came that his house was being used as a background shot, the homeowner grabbed a massive Nazi flag and hung it out front of the house, out of one of the top windows. The production company balked. They knew that this ruined any shot they'd used there. And what's more, they started to question just when he'd put the flag up. Was it just the one day? Or had all the previous shots, some which showed the house from across the square, been ruined as well? They turned to the city for help, and the city just basically shrugged, saying that it was his First Amendment right to do that, and implied that had the production company paid the homeowners, as had always been done before, then this probably wouldn't have happened. In the end, the production company had to end shooting and go to the homeowner begging for him to remove the offending flag. He did eventually do so, but only after his lawyer got a contract in writing that required the production company to pay all the homeowners for having their homes in the shot. The flag came down, and shooting wrapped in less than a day. Interestingly, it's said that in the movie in question, The Ordeal of Dr. Mudd, there are several shots where you can see a bright red Nazi flag flying from one of the homes in the distance. That stunt cost a producer quite a substantial amount of money and pushed production back at least a year while they tried to find every single instance that the flag flew in the background shots. This homeowner would go on to himself become very famous, though not for a good reason. Even so, he lives on among the legends of that city, both for his revenge against a movie producer and his later brush with fame. The fellow in question is none other than Jim Williams. Williams was an American antiques dealer and a historic preservationist based in Savannah, Georgia. He played an active role in the preservation of the Savannah Historic District for over 35 years. Williams was arrested on May 2, 1981, for the alleged murder of 21-year-old Danny Hansford, with whom he had been having a homosexual relationship at Mercer House. After the subsequent 4 trials, a record in the state of Georgia, Williams was finally acquitted by a jury in Augusta in May 1989, 8 years after his arrest. Williams died in 1990 of heart failure, though AIDS is also suspected. He is the center of the story Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil novel, and later Clint Eastwood movie. Wow, it was really a brilliant and bold revenge and was executed with perfection. The homeowner forced the production company to rethink their entire approach. Our third and the last story is from Reddit admin Dumb87. Call me a race trader and a PM on Reddit? Let's destroy your life. A few years ago, on a different Reddit account, I mentioned that I was in an interracial relationship. A Redditor reached out to me and told me I was a race trader and unfaithful to my race. I was like, WTF, bro? I looked at his account. It was 6 years old, which told me his username was likely something he used a lot. So I started Googling his username Igmail, username Iahoo, etc., and I found a match with Hotmail. A guy by the name of, let's say, Jeff, was selling some NFL game tickets and had posted his email. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's the same person. However, in the post, he mentioned a city in America and that he was a fan of a particular football team. I went through the Reddit user post history. He posted quite a bit in the respective city subreddits. He mentioned going to NFL games, and in another post, he also said he was born in Canada. So, through the ad for the NFL ticket, I figured out his real name. I found his biography on his employer's website. He was a senior-level manager, so they had a bio for him. In that bio, they mentioned he was born in Canada, was a fan of said NFL team, and loved living in the city. I also found his LinkedIn page during this time, so I sent him a connect request on LinkedIn, which he accepted. I figured he would, because he had 500 plus connections. So here's what we know. His username matches his email handle. He likes the NFL team. He lives in a said city that he posts in said city's subreddits. He was born in Canada. I then found his Facebook page. His Facebook page was public, and he posted what I would describe as semi-racist material. Also, his Reddit page was significantly more racist. Based on the numerous connecting factors, I determined, so I create a report. I included screenshots and links and summarized my findings in that report. Now, based on this person's position in his company, he likely had a significant role in deciding who this company employs. Also, his company clearly stated they were an equal opportunity employer. So I called their HR department, I found the number, and I called them. And I asked them, would you be concerned if a senior-level manager in your organization was a proud racist and degraded your equal opportunity employment policies? They were concerned. So I told them I had done an investigation into one of their senior-level managers and described he was racist, and I had put together all my evidence and findings in a report and could email it over to them. I emailed them the report. A few weeks later, I called to get an update, and I was told they appreciated my report. However, they would have to comment on the status of their decision and make public statements in regard. Basically, thanks for letting us know, but we aren't going to tell you shit. That's fine. So I waited another month, and I kept checking his LinkedIn page. Then one day, I saw a LinkedIn post from him in which he said he is looking for a new opportunity and if anyone had any positions open. So I messaged him on Reddit and I told him, "Hey bro, heard you got fired. Just want you to know, I'm the reason why." He threatened to find out who I was, hunt me down, rape my spouse, and strangle me to death. So I reported him to Reddit admins who promptly perma-banned him. Now, he really should have learned his lesson. Because guess what? He didn't connect the dots. He didn't know I could see all his LinkedIn activity. He didn't know who I was. He simply acted in rage. So I put his newest message in his folder and added it the report. Because, you see, I can be an incredibly vindictive motherfucker. I checked his LinkedIn once a week. Good news, he got another job. Bad news, their HR department was also quite easy to get a hold of and discuss their new horizontal racist, threatening behavior. However, let's just say I had a lovely conversation with this HR representative. She was a woman, and based on how she sounded, and her name, I suspect she was a woman of color. So, yay. I'm not sure what happened after this because a few weeks later his internet history was cleaned up and his LinkedIn page was deleted. However, this company listed their senior management, which was what his position was. I never saw his name listed. What I suspect happened is after his HR reviewed my evidence, they terminated his employment with them. I would have totally gone after him a third time. But he got smart the second time around. TL. Deekta guy called me a race traitor. I got him fired from not one, but 2 jobs. Hey, BTW Jeff, if you see this post, I'd love for you to send me a new message. I really enjoyed the little game I played with you. I also question how did you handle getting fired from 2 jobs back to back on your resume and in future job interviews? The revenge was devastatingly effective. By using the internet to uncover the racist troll's identity, OP strategically exposed his behavior to his employers, costing him 2 jobs. Bye-bye for now. Let's see you tomorrow.